Trigger warning, this episode does contain talks of suicide and domestic abuse. Welcome back to Are You High Right Now? DJ, are you high right now?
I am.
What are you smoking today?
I'm smoking a distillate cart called Kush Mints. It was made by Genesis of Rapid City, South Dakota.
Okay. Cool. What are the effects of that, do you think?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, so we might just find out in the middle of this podcast? Okay.
I just kind of ripped it open and threw it on there.
All right.
Tried it.
That sounds great. So we are attempting to record for YouTube. Again, this is our first time trying to record since the first episode, which didn't work out. So we'll see how it works. We're using a dummy battery, so it's supposed to help us a little bit. We will see. Hopefully the camera doesn't overheat. And I'm not going to wear my headphones today because these are cheap ass headphones that we bought and they suck. So I hope, do I sound too loud to you?
No.
Okay. So DJ's got the headphones and hopefully it sounds okay. But this is our first time recording in 2 weeks. I was out of town last weekend and we were going to record before I left and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, it was a really busy week. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah, it was a really busy week. And I flew out last Friday and I thought that my flight was at 2 in the afternoon. So we were going to record Thursday night and I thought, oh, I'll have all this time Friday to pack and do all this stuff. And then I realized my flight left at 8 in the morning.
A little bit of a surprise.
But glad I checked that. So do you want to talk about our weeks a little bit or last 2 weeks?
Yeah, sure.
What? You go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Talk about your little vacay to Austin.
Yeah. So I took a trip to Austin to stay with my friend Shelby. I went with a couple other girls and it was fun. We just went for a long weekend with not really any special agenda. We just went to have a little break and have good food and get a good night's sleep, drink a little bit. And it was great. It was so fun. I had some of the best food I've ever had ever. And
but
I realized
no barbecue. I cannot
no
believe
barbecue.
You went to Texas and didn't have any barbecue.
But had really good Tex-Mex. I'm more of a Mexican girl than a barbecue.
I am too, but good barbecue is really, really some mac and cheese and some ribs. You eat some coleslaw, maybe cooked corn.
I know. I mean, that's not bad, but I don't know if that's my
some backyard barbecue.
But had some really good food. Food obviously was expensive. Drinks were expensive, but it made me realize that in a big town like that, I think it's so much easier to eat healthier because if you're going, maybe not barbecue, but if you're going out to eat here, right off the bat, I'm okay, I'm probably going to have a burger or fries or something greasy, or even if it's chicken, a lot of times it's really oily and stuff. Whereas there, everything just felt healthier. You could eat a meal and not feel gross after. You just felt better.
That's just not where Shelby was taking you guys?
Maybe. But we don't even...
everywhere I ate was...
When you
the
went.
exact opposite of what you just said. It was great.
That's fair. But, okay, so let me say this. I feel there's more options for that kind of stuff in a bigger city, obviously.
Yeah.
We don't really have anything like that here.
I agree with that, for sure.
Yeah, so that was fun. It's so funny because we're almost 30 and, okay, you are 30, but I'm saying the girls, we were almost 30. So we did not go out and party or anything like that. The extent of our partying was going to this really cute Mexican place. It was part of a hotel, kind of, it wasn't on the roof, but it was, I don't know, it was 5 floors up or something. And we just had good food and we got day drunk on margaritas and we're still asleep by 10:30. That was our extent of partying. And it was so fun. I would way rather do that than go out and party and get
most
drunk.
times you do wake up without a hangover the next day.
I still had a little bit of a hangover just because I haven't drank that much in a long time.
You don't drink that much in general.
No. But no, it was really good. And it was my first time being away from Jaden, which was hard, but honestly, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I missed him, of course, but I also really enjoyed just girl time and not having anyone really depend on me. And I knew it was only for a few days, so it wasn't terrible. And then obviously I knew you were taking care of him, so he was good and he drank his bottle just fine and he did great,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we crushed it over the weekend.
Yeah. Did you guys do anything fun or?
Oh, we went to Cabela's. We went and saw the fishes at Cabela's, and then he came with me to go shoot some archery with a friend of mine, Zared. So we kind of spent the day with the boys, and then Sunday we went out to my uncle's and watched football and hung out with him and his wife. I
Yeah.
don't
So,
know. It was a good weekend though.
okay.
Yeah, we had fun.
Good. Oh, I wrote this down as a note. I made like a whole TikTok story on this, but I would assume most people in here listening to our podcast don't follow me on TikTok. So I was going to tell the story of the airport lady that I texted you about her, but you never really responded to what I said. So I don't know what you thought of it.
No, I was waiting for a response.
I texted it to you.
Did you?
Yeah.
Then I must have skipped right
It was like
over
a full, anyways, no, don't read it.
Don't read it?
No, let me tell you.
Okay.
Okay, so I was at the airport waiting. I had a layover in Denver before Austin, and I didn't fly out with the other girls. This side note, really stupid. I saved like $100 by booking a different flight, and it ended up being delayed, and it was so not worth it. But I was flying by myself there, and I'm waiting for this flight to Austin, and I have like 2.5 hours, and I'm sitting in the little area right out front of that plane. And I'm like listening to music, and there's a lady who's like right behind me. You know how the chairs are like back to back. She's right behind me, and she's talking to like this younger couple who I think they're either family or family friends from what I gathered. But this older lady is talking so loud that eventually I'm like, what are they saying? And I like pull my headphone out. It wasn't like I had to strain to hear because they're literally right behind me. But I basically get the story that she is going to be a grandma. Her son and daughter-in-law are about to have a baby. They're pregnant right now. And the reason that I started eavesdropping is because I hear her saying, I can't believe that they are going to put their kid in daycare. I didn't raise them that way. That's so wrong. I can't believe they would do that. I'm so mad that they're taking my baby and putting him in daycare. And all these things she was saying were just so triggering to me because I'm like, it's not your baby. Like just demonizing daycare is crazy. So basically what I get out of this story is that the girl who's pregnant, so the daughter-in-law, is she's going to have 3 months off, and then they're going to put the baby in daycare for part-time and like 3 days a week. And I hear that this mother-in-law or grandma to the soon-to-be baby lives 2.5 hours away, and instead of putting him in daycare, she wishes that she could go stay with the son and daughter-in-law 3 days a week and watch the baby. And the son and daughter-in-law tell her, no, you're not coming to stay with us. And she's like, I just don't understand. I would clean their house. I would take care of their baby. I would watch their stupid dog. Like she's insulting the dog on top of it. Like, why won't they let me stay there? So she sounds like a nightmare. And she's so mad that they're putting her baby, putting that in quotes, in daycare. And then on top of that, she's like, I can't believe they wouldn't let me stay there. I didn't raise them to do that. I was so ready to just like turn around and yell at her. So I was like taking notes as this was happening.
Well, I mean, depending on how she is, that sounds like a good.
No.
No?
Well, okay.
If in that situation, with daycare and everything?
If the daughter-in-law and the son are like, yeah, that's fantastic. We don't have to pay for daycare. If they want that, great. But if they're like, oh, no, we don't want someone to live with us 3 days a week, who you could tell by her tone, everything, that she was just this overbearing mother-in-law. Like if your mom was like that, I would probably not have married you, to be honest.
Probably, I probably wouldn't like my mom.
Yeah, it made me very thankful that I have good in-laws. But so she's saying all that, and then this girl that she's talking to is fully backing her up. Like, yeah, daycare's not okay. Why would she think that's okay? And I'm like, why are you acting like daycare's the worst thing you can do for your kid?
Yeah,
like,
and sometimes that's all
that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Like, that's so insulting to moms that don't have a choice.
And I'm surprised she got 3 months. I think I'm
yeah,
sure
like that's pretty good.
I'm sure some jobs are even less.
Yeah, 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something. So then, sorry, this story's almost done. I'll make this quick. But so then she's saying how so this older lady is saying her and her husband, and I think one of their other kids, went to stay with this son and daughter-in-law, and must have been over the holidays. well, this whole time, the pregnant daughter-in-law was sick. So she's like in bed sick the whole time. And in the morning, so they stayed the night. In the morning, the son kind of gathers them and he's like, I'm glad you guys are here, but like, just so you know, you can't just come and stay with us whenever. So it sounded like they didn't have an invite. They just showed up and decided to stay the night while the daughter-in-law is sick the whole time. She's pregnant, all this stuff. Well, instead of this older lady, mother-in-law, father-in-law, or father, being like understanding of that, they blow up at him and say like, that's not how we raise you. We're never staying here again. Like they're so insulted that they could not just drop by and stay as long as they wanted. And they just keep saying, that's not how we raised you. And then the very last story was they said they invited their son to this like family vacation after the baby's born. Well, the wife can't go because it's like right after the baby's born, going to have a newborn. They're mad at the son because he's saying, no, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay with my wife and my new baby. And they're like, I just don't understand. Like, so they start talking about this daughter-in-law saying like, she's influencing what he's saying, all this stuff. They're blaming this daughter-in-law because their son is like, actually has the balls to set some boundaries. Anyways, I was like taking notes. I was texting several people. I was like, this conversation is insane. And I can't believe it. I was just so close to turning around and saying like, if you have no respect for your son and daughter-in-law, you're never going to see this baby, or you never should see this baby.
Or rarely.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the only story I have, but I just thought that was nuts. So today we're going to talk about bad breakup stories. I thought we could start with our worst breakups, which we don't really have any dramatic ones, but do you have anything you want to share about a bad breakup? Whether like someone broke up with you or you broke up with them or anything like memorable?
I've had like 2 girlfriends in my whole like life.
But did they end badly or this like amicably?
No, one of them I just lost interest.
Oh, that's
Another one was kind of a back and forth toxic relationship, and I mean, nothing crazy happened. Like my windows never got broken or there was no like stalking going on. It was just classic toxic behavior from both parties, really.
Okay.
Other than that, no. But I'm excited to hear some people's toxic ass shit.
They're pretty good. I would say too, I didn't have any like terrible breakups. I will say, because here's what I've realized is that I think a lot of people that we know are not listening to this podcast, which actually makes me really happy in some ways because I feel like it gives me more freedom to actually share some stuff without feeling like, oh, you know what I mean?
No.
Okay. Anyways.
No, I wouldn't think like that.
I think I'm always afraid of like, oh, I don't want to say something because what if this person from high school hears? And it's like, I don't care. Yeah. So the only thing I will say is I don't even know if you could call it breakup, but I was dating this guy end of high school, beginning of college, and we were dating, like fully dating for 8 months. I was fully convinced that we were dating. He made me think that we were dating, but he kept saying, well, I'm not asking you out because I'm thinking of a cute way to do it. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're not like, he didn't technically ask me, but like we're dating. We do everything, whatever. I'm going to visit him in college. He's coming to visit me, whatever. Come to find out, the girlfriend he'd broken up with right before me, he started seeing again about 2 weeks after him and I started dating. So he was fully dating both of us for a solid 8 months. And and that was the end of that. And his reasoning was like, well, we weren't dating. I was like, well, that's news to me. I thought we were. And then the only other like bad breakup I'll say was this is embarrassing for me. I got broken up with at Canyon Lake Park, and I was like kind of blindsided. Like I thought we were like going out, like going to hang out with his family or something. And he's like, do you want to meet at Canyon Lake Park first? And I just got kind of this like sick feeling of like, this doesn't sound good. Like, oh, we need to talk thing. And it was the day before he was like leaving for college, like sophomore or junior year, I think. Mm-hmm. And totally different guy from the first one. And he broke up with me, and I was very heartbroken in that moment. And I cried in the park, and I probably made a fool of myself looking back at it.
That's all right.
So I think of that and I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. But it's not as easy to be like, well, that's fine. Just walk away like gracefully. Like in the moment, it's not that easy.
No, it's never that. It's always a heartbreak, of course. Because you've, it's like finding like your first true love and stuff. You think true love, right? And and
maybe I was dumb for being blindsided, but I was, and we had like hung out and dated all summer, and it was literally the night before he left when he dumped me, which I thought was a little shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's fine. It's not as bad as these stories, I'll tell you that much.
I'm excited.
So most of these are listener write-in stories. We have a few Reddit ones, but I'm happy. I'm happy that we're getting some good listener write-ins. They're way more fun than the Reddit ones. So like keep writing in.
I think it's more fun for us too because we know that it's coming from someone around here.
Yeah.
And like we said, it is anonymous. We don't know where they're coming from. So
yeah, I think it's fun. And then I also imagine like the people writing them in are going to listen to us, obviously reading them, and listen to our takes too.
I would say so.
The first one, middle school track meet at Sioux Park. That's another thing. It's like places we know.
Years too. Is there a year?
No, there's no years.
Okay.
Middle school track meet at Sioux Park. I got dumped because I made sound effects. This was the whole AOL Messenger era, if that gives you any hint to the year. She sent me the song, The First Cut is the Deepest, as a breakup song. She said I was weird for always making sound effects. Well, guess what? I'm in my mid-30s and still make them.
Fuck yeah, buddy. I do too. Fuck yeah, man. I do too.
Okay, why do I have a feeling of who this is, and I have no reason of thinking this.
Is it one of my friends or no?
I'm going to say who I think it is, and I know he's probably listening, and I hope he laughs if this isn't him. But I could imagine him doing this, and not in a bad way at all. But I can imagine this being Paul.
I don't know. Paul, let us know, bud.
I feel like he's going to be a true listener who's always writing in.
Yeah, and he's always letting us know like critiques. And
yeah. So Paul, if that's you, give us a little hint. If it's not, I don't know. On. But no, that is so funny. A classic, a breakup song. I used to love that song actually.
And so AOL, MSN, so that's right around our era.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming AOL I think was a little bit before our time. I think MSN was more.
Yeah. A little bit, a few years after. Mm-hmm, I remember, dating someone in middle school was so funny because any boyfriends I had in middle school, I literally never talked to at all. Like, only would text. But I dated this one kid in middle school, and it was over MSN Messenger, I think.
Nice.
Is it? Well, I was going to say, like, could you do, like, FaceTime-ish kind of things over that?
You could do webcam.
Yeah, so that it was that, and I remember we were talking... Or we could see each other, and then we were typing on Messenger. And so I could see his face, and I dumped him over typing, and then he shut his webcam off. It was sad.
That's kind of... Well, I'm sure I did, too, at some point. I can't remember. I think I had plenty of girlfriends in middle school that were just over the internet, or we barely talked, or... It is funny. I remember middle school in general was wild, I feel, at Southwest.
It was wild. You guys were wild with all your boyfriends and girlfriends?
No, not like that. Like, it was just, there was always stuff going on. Like, there was a lot of pranks that would happen to teachers and lockers getting ripped open because there was like the girls' book about all the boys. And
oh, geez.
Yeah, there was like all kinds of fun shit going on in middle school.
I feel like I'm really glad I didn't go to Southwest.
Why?
I have friends now. Like, I would say a good majority of my friends now went to Southwest, not West. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I don't know. It was intimidating.
I got away with a lot more shit at Southwest than I did at West.
Really?
But maybe that's because I was on my last kind of straw.
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck out of this school.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, DJ got kicked out of Southwest. Yeah. Came to West in 7th grade?
8th grade.
Oh, okay.
Beginning of 8th grade.
So that's when I first met you.
Yep.
I said, that's a bad boy.
That's a bad boy, right?
And I didn't talk to him all of middle school. Okay.
Or high school.
Or high school.
Or college.
Or 5 years after. Okay. This is our second one. Okay, these are starting to get You're starting to get good, okay? You're starting to get into
we're dipping our toes in
real
here?
dates.
Okay.
We're done with middle school now.
All right.
I had been dating this guy for about a year, but I didn't want to be with him. When I tried to break up with him, he would cry and say, please don't do this today. So I didn't. I stayed with him another day and then tried to do it the next day. His response, please not today. It's a Wednesday. I didn't care that it was a Wednesday. I just needed to move on from that relationship. As he was crying, I literally had to walk him to his car and shut the car door. I felt so bad. Like, that's embarrassing. Not today. Not today.
Please not today. I've had a bad
tomorrow.
day.
It's a Wednesday. How dare you on a Wednesday?
Dude, okay, whoever you are, that's super fucking embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
That, and you've got some...
Not you writing this in, the guy.
No, you've got some major attachment issues. Major.
Yeah. Hopefully he's okay. There's some that are worse than that, though. Yeah. They kind of, like, progressively get worse, which I really love.
So as like coming from her side of things, like there's no way I would let that drag on. Like if I was breaking up with somebody and they're like, please not today, I'd be like, all right, this is exactly why the fuck I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah, so clingy.
It's like, no, lose my number. Like I'm not.
What do you say if you're like, because I'm sure, I don't even know if I think in most relationships, I was the one getting dumped, if I'm being honest. Are you surprised by that?
No.
You're not? That's
I'm just kidding.
Like real relationships, I'm pretty sure I was the one getting dumped. Because I don't think I got into a real relationship unless I was like, yeah, I really like this person. Mm-hmm. I would end like flings more.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? Oh, I imagine breaking up with someone, you like kind of have to work up the courage a little because you're going to like hurt someone kind of. Mm-hmm. So then for them to be like, no. No, you're not breaking up with me today. Like,
no, what? Yes, I am.
I did not rehearse this. We're breaking up. I said what I needed to say.
You'd be the type that would be like, okay.
Like,
okay.
Right. Well, what else are we going to do today? What, do you continue your date? Like, how do you, as the other guy,
recoup from that?
Say like, oh, nope, I say, don't worry, I saved it. She didn't break up with me today. We're still together. Like, you know that she doesn't want to be together. So what's
pathetic.
The point?
That sounds super pathetic.
Yeah. They just sad. He was crying. I had to walk into his car and shut the car door.
There's no way. Sorry.
You know what? I'm sure he really like grew and learned from that situation. I hope.
I doubt it.
I don't know. Maybe he's looking back on it. And he's like, I'm embarrassed.
Bad for himself for the next couple of years.
Probably. You know what? He could have been one of those guys that like goes and then talks shit. Like she was such a bitch.
She was crazy.
Yeah.
This bitch is crazy.
Yeah, guys love to do that. Okay, this next one. I had been love bombed by this guy I had been seeing for about 2 months. Long story short, I broke up with him because he was clingy, insecure, and, well, crazy. Days after our breakup, he showed up at my house with a box full of gifts. Each item, he took the time to write out why and what the reason was behind buying each item. I'm talking details. Along with the box of gifts was a front and back paper on why we are meant to be, and that I made the, quote, biggest mistake of my life. He also claimed he bought all these gifts before I broke up with him, and they just came in the mail. I had a friend come with me, and we dropped off the package back at his house. I never heard from him again until a year later when he reached out on Facebook and asked me to cancel my dental insurance because he had been paying for it for the last year. That's the best gift of all, is all I have to say.
Shit. And
teeth
better be clean, girl. Because if you've been getting your shit paid for and you haven't taken full advantage of that.
I know, but that is funny. He probably felt so weird reaching out to you like
a year later.
But how was he even paying for your dental insurance? How does that even work?
I don't know. That is a good question. Unless he's...
I don't know.
That is a good question.
I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, whatever.
The whole like love bombing thing, and then like you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Like, don't tell me what I'm doing with my life. Like,
well, and then don't, and the whole gifts thing, like that's weird, bro. Like once again, that's...
Well, that goes right into the love bombing of like the just throwing shit at you and like, you should love me because I'm doing all this for you, or I'm saying what I'm supposed to say, or I'm giving you gifts. It's like, that's not what it's all about. No. And if you don't have like a real like connection, that's not going to work. And if he's clingy and insecure, I think that's what I would say to, I'm sure you feel like you've always felt this way about girls, but like guys in general, I would say like confidence is huge. If you like have that clingy, desperate energy, as a girl, I feel like you can spot that from a mile away. You know what I mean? Like to have that, don't be clingy, don't be desperate. And I have been that person, I feel like, in parts of relationships. And I look back and I'm like, ew, like no wonder that's like not when someone wants to be with you, because that's not like, just live your life, just be you. And if they like you, they like you. And if they don't, they don't.
Exactly.
It's not that big of a deal.
Exactly.
But you don't know that when you're in high school, middle school, and whatever. Right?
You're still trying to maneuver through those waters.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say on that one?
Yeah, I guess I've never done anything that desperate before.
No.
Like that's desperate measures.
I think love bombing is obviously like super manipulative.
I don't really think I've gotten anybody
bombed?
a gift except you.
Okay, so there's got to be some middle ground. Yeah, you're right. Don't love bomb. Don't buy any gifts at all.
No, I'm just saying for like my past relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever.
I also like, we've like talked about this too with like love languages, but mine is not gifts at all. So I think if a guy just gave me a box full of gifts and he's like, does this not show you're making the biggest mistake of your life? It's like, that doesn't really do anything for me. Like, I don't need a box of shit that you think makes me worthy of you know what I mean? So, okay, next one. I dated this guy for 3 years. I got close to this guy in college, and my ex thought I was cheating on him with this guy. And even after 6 months of not talking to the guy, my ex treated me awful. I went to college to be a nurse, so I had clinicals on the weekend, and he would purposely drive the 3 hours to Portland to see his family the whole time to not spend time with me because he thought I was cheating. He refused to cuddle me, and he started yelling at me nonstop, and even told me that if he found someone better to date, that he would break up with me. I had had enough, so I ended it. Come to find out, every weekend he would drive down to Portland. He was actually cheating on me and moved the new girlfriend into the house before I could even move my stuff completely out. After we'd been broken up for a year, he started messaging me from fake Snapchats and Instagram accounts where he would ask for us to meet up, that he was sorry, and that he wanted to elope. Mind you, he was still dating the girl he cheated on me with. He messaged from these accounts for 3 years until he proposed to his girlfriend this last December. Thank goodness, and the messages have stopped for now. Yes, the new girlfriend.
Ouch.
Run.
So, this is Oregon.
I know. I'm like, who is this? No, this is not the point of our podcast. We have to decipher who's writing these. Okay, we may have lost a minute, or hopefully not very long, of recording on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, there might be a little bit of the story you might have missed. I'm hoping not. But our camera it hit like its maximum recording time. So we just started that up again, but it has been going for a long time without overheating. So I think that's good. I think we're getting there. Sorry. We were getting back into, okay, this was about Portland. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. What were you saying with that?
I don't know. It's fucked up.
Yeah, so
Super
like
Up.
why?
So he had 2 girlfriends. He was playing 2 sides. And
so this is like so crazy to me that you message someone for years. Well, first off, he cheated. Okay. Let's like forget about that. So he messages you for years wanting to get back together, still with his girlfriend. So he's never going to be content with like whoever he's with. But then ask the other girl, like proposes to the other girl. What's the point in that? Like why would you even want to get married when you're still trying to get with your ex?
I don't know. It's super fucked.
It's really scary, kind of.
It is very scary.
As someone who, this girl, like, just getting engaged, she's been with this guy for years, and then super happy they get engaged, and she has no idea that he's still talking to the ex. Like, that's terrifying.
It's very terrifying. It's like
I feel like she should know that before she gets married.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're saying like you should tell?
I don't know if I don't feel like that's hard because I don't feel like it's this girl's job to do that because she maybe doesn't know this new girl. But like, that sucks. This new girl should know. I wish she would know.
I mean,
That's
I
hard.
definitely think that's a hard one. That is a hard one. I guess it just depends how you're feeling that day. Like you having
That day, you want to ruin lives today?
yeah, you having a really good day, and like you don't. Oh no, I'm gonna take the high road here, you know. But or you having a shitty day, and you're like, no, fuck this bitch.
Oh, I can't imagine. If we had just gotten engaged and let me just say, if one of your ex came out of the woodwork and was like, he's been trying to get with me for the last 3 years, I wouldn't believe him for a second, though.
Oh yeah, are you saying right now?
Yeah, like if we had just gotten engaged and someone was like, just so you know, he wanted to marry me. He asked me to elope, whatever. I would not believe him for half a second. So that's maybe where this
Why
thing
is that?
Well, with your exes specifically, you think they're hate listening to this?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they are. One
My
of them's
exes-
actually, listen, I will say this. One of them's actually very nice, I feel like, to me. I feel like she watches our stuff, but she's very nice. And I have no, like, ill will towards her. One of them,
Yeah,
I
don't
do
know. I
not
don't
have good vibes
But
with one of them.
she's talked shit about me to multiple friends of mine.
Oh, both of them have.
No.
The other one, the one who's nice to me.
No.
Oh, the crazy one.
Yes.
Okay.
The one that's nice to you.
And I'm not saying she's crazy because you said she's crazy. I'm not saying
No,
that.
no.
I'm saying I created my own theory that she is crazy from several things. But
We're talking about like the most
talking
recent
about
one and then the one before.
the
that
one before.
Okay, yeah. So the most recent one, I think we just, like I said, it was a toxic relationship. Is what it is. I think we're both moved on. Whatever.
And to be fair, because we had a similar type of relationship as our last one, right?
Yeah.
But, and I don't know about you, but for me, that relationship was probably like the hardest one to get over. But I also feel like I learned the most out of that and grew the most out of that. So I don't feel like ill will towards him or like in your situation with her, because I think the same thing of like, sometimes you need those back and forth relationships to like grow.
To figure out like, oh yeah, I did the same thing. Oh,
But the one from high school who's like,
I don't know,
still hanging on.
I don't know what the deal with her is.
I don't know.
Because she's talked shit to my friends, or like I have female friends, and she has talked shit about me to them.
Yeah, it's like, get over it.
And they both know, like, no, that's not true. Like, we know him better than that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny how, like, even after, I mean, shit, it's been
years, over 10 years.
Yeah, 11 years.
That's wild. Like, the relationships I had that long ago, I wouldn't be surprised if they forgot who I was, to be honest with you. Like, there's no contact. Like, I've never heard any bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was like 12, 14 years ago.
Anyways, we kind of got off track. I wasn't saying like this girl as the writer saying whatever. Like, you're in a shitty position, but I would say you dodged a huge bullet because obviously he's never going to be happy with who he's with. He's never going to be happy with one person.
I'd probably just screenshot some shit and send it.
I know.
Or not. I don't know.
It's also like, should she even have to deal with the hassle of that? Like, it's this new girl's problem now.
You're just jumping in the middle of it. I don't know.
Hold on. The new girlfriend, the new like fiance, did she know that he was with this other girl? She was the other girl.
Probably. Or not. Maybe she didn't, if she had no fucking clue.
Maybe she had no clue. But if she was the other girl, honestly, fuck her.
Well, yeah, and then
She's got it coming to her.
She had to have known, because moving into a new house, and she
And
said
your stuff was still
Yeah,
there?
yeah, so she had to
no,
have
you don't need to tell her.
Yeah, fuck her.
How you get them is how you lose them. Is that harsh? Okay, we're at 36 minutes and we only have a few stories left.
Okay.
So.
It'll be just at 50 minutes probably again.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't feel like you're gonna edit too much out.
No. So this is a short one. To read this is so funny. Okay. She decided to end it in the middle of sex. And on top of that, she told me she wanted to break up in the middle of anal. However, she wanted us to finish. Like, what the fuck? We did it a few more times, just never dated again.
What the fuck?
How does that even happen?
Wouldn't you just say, hey, can we just be fuck buddies?
What epiphany did you have in the middle to be like, yeah, this isn't working? But this currently is working, but not the relationship. Like, what the
I don't
hell?
know what I don't know what the fuck. That can't say I've ever even heard of that happening.
No, of all the times to
Maybe that's when
end
she
it.
felt like when she I don't know. That's when she feels like she's most expressive.
Expressive, yeah. When she can be the most vulnerable, her truest self, her real emotions come out during anal. Okay, so now we're getting into some Reddit stories.
Okay.
These are pretty short. Some of these are a little dark. I'm not gonna lie. Like crazy.
Okay.
Had an ex burn down the house I had recently moved out of with herself in it, leaving a suicide note blaming me and the guy she cheated on me with. Oh, and she survived with terrible burns. Now she has a kid with one of my other friends.
What the fuck?
A lot to unpack there with this one.
So he broke up with her for cheating on him.
Right.
She burned herself alive, tried to, with a suicide note because he left her.
Right. So like
And
not
she was
even
clearly pregnant.
No. She didn't have a baby with the guy she cheated on him with. She had a baby with one of his other friends. So this is after the fact.
I'm just assuming that is that guy she cheated
Nope.
with him on.
It specifically says with one of my other friends.
Oh, wow.
So
Your friends are shitty.
So she cheats, feeling sorry for herself, tries to kill herself, and isn't going to be like, I fucked up or anything, but no, puts the blame on you. Then, I'm sorry, it's really sad that she has terrible burns.
She did it
but
to
you
herself.
did it to yourself. And
Yeah.
then you also went and screwed another friend. So, yeah, someone
Self-inflicted
who doesn't
1,
want to
2,
take...
and 3. I mean, all that she did all 3 of those to herself. So
So she clearly
Crazy,
does not want to
crazy.
take accountability for anything.
you need to get the fuck out of Dodge too, man.
Yeah, it's just scary. Someone gonna burn a house down. Like she'll burn
not
your
right.
house
Yeah,
down
she's not
with
right
you
in the
in
fucking
it.
head. Yeah, you need to get out of town.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, did she think you were in it? Like, did she like?
I don't. It doesn't sound like it because she left a
God.
suicide note, so I don't think she was
that's
trying to
true.
do that. You know,
Crazy.
and maybe this is different because this girl's like actually attempting suicide, and maybe we should say a trigger warning talking about suicide, but it's too late for that. I already told the whole
You
story.
can add one
Okay. Yeah.
at the beginning. Just say trigger warning. There will be.
So remind me to record that at the end of this.
Okay.
Say trigger warning. There's talk of suicide. But I was going to say, like, I'm very thankful that I was like never in a relationship with someone who would use that as a threat. Have you like heard of people doing that where they're like,
Oh yeah.
don't break up with me because like making someone feel like, oh, I'm not allowed to make this decision for myself because I'm worried about their well-being. That's such a hard.
It's super fucked. I mean, it's a fucked situation to be in.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Next one. This is another dark one. I'm sorry. My ex-girlfriend attempted to murder me in bed with a knife. I ended up having to punch her in the face to stop her. I ended up getting sued for $10,000 for domestic abuse, even though I had a clear stab wound in my shoulder blade. Believe me, it could be worse.
What the fuck? You got stabbed and you got charged?
Yeah. But, okay, I'm
I would
not going to...
I would have beat the brakes off that girl.
But just
I'm telling you.
Give me just a second because I'm not saying she's in the right. I'm not saying he's in the right. But
What the fuck?
No.
What would she be in the right for?
No, I'm saying there's two sides to every story.
Okay.
So could there have been more to it? Like he gets sued for domestic abuse. That could have been from the punch in the face when she tried to stab him, or she could have tried to stab him because he'd been abusive in the past.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all I'm saying is, do we know the full story
No,
here?
we don't. But if somebody's trying to stab me,
Yeah. Oh, and here's my other thought is like, tries to stab. Did he one punch to the face? She's out. Did he beat the shit out of her?
if I get stabbed, I'm sorry.
You would just go.
I'd probably give somebody's getting hit quite a few times until that knife's in my possession.
But I'm saying like as a guy who's probably a lot stronger than the girl, how much does it take for that self-defense?
I don't know.
You could like knock him out, grab the knife,
You
handle the
I don't
situation.
know, you punch pretty hard.
I'm not saying me. I'm saying the typical girl. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Rondo.
I'm just kidding. No, but I don't know. I'm sorry. If this is as true as he's saying in the story, that's very unfortunate, and that's not okay.
No, it's not.
All I'm saying
But
is there could be more to the story.
I do understand your side of it too, because he could have been a little dickhole who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we don't know
He's very abusive.
what happened in court that he like actually got to the point where he was sued. Okay, next one. This one's funny. This one's just good-hearted and funny. Oh man, it was brutal. It was one of those whirlwind romances that seem to last forever because you have no concept of time. It ended in screams, tears, and physical abuse. We were 3 and I pushed her off the swing set.
That's cute.
Okay, sorry. That wasn't very good. Okay, I think this is my very last one. Yeah. Phoned me at work, asked me to step outside. In quotes. So I've been thinking about our relationship. I realize I don't want you anymore. ... Are you kidding? Sorry to ruin your weekend. Click. Hangs up. See him again by chance. He told me when I asked... Okay, this is written really weird. He told me when I asked what made him change his mind so quickly, it had just been his birthday and I had really tried to make it fantastic. He responded with, when you did all that stuff and put so much effort into my birthday, it made me realize I didn't really have any interest in ever doing anything like that for you.
I mean, that's fair and being honest. That's kind of
harsh.
Brutal as fuck.
Not a great way to do it. I feel like there could have been a nicer way to do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, lie to her.
I wasn't saying that. I was saying, first off, a phone call. But this isn't working. Click. Sorry to ruin your weekend. Hang up. That's wrong. But then also, he could have just been like, I'm just not sure I'm as invested as you or something. He could have said it in a way that's like, you doing all that nice stuff for me? Yeah, that's cool, but I never want to do that for you. I don't give a shit about you or your birthday. That's rough. But maybe that's kind of like the same line as, this is like weird because obviously it seems like, okay, you did all this really great stuff and that's super nice, but like, was it too much? Did it come across as like clingy or like overbearing a little bit?
Like what if you threw me a huge surprise party and like, I don't like parties and you got me this huge gift and I'm not like a big fan of gifts because
what if they like just started dating and then she goes all out for his birthday and he's like, whoa. That's like too much too fast.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, because there's really no context to like how long they were together, anything like that. And if he ended it over the phone,
there's some overtop people out there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is all the stories I have.
Nice.
Anything else you want to say?
No. Oh, actually, I do. On our last episode of Worst Jobs, I think it was, I got so worked up on the firefighting one for the first one out of the gate. I forgot to say how much I really liked Action Mechanical.
Oh, okay.
And the people I worked there too.
Yeah.
Learned a shit ton. Yeah. And yeah, that's probably one of my favorite jobs too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I was going to say, I keep thinking about this. The one where we were like annoyed by stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just keep thinking about this, so I feel like I have to say something.
You just keep thinking of things that annoy you?
No. I want to like change something that I said.
Okay.
Where I said that like when people cry on social media, that's something that really annoys me. And I realize it's not that black and white because since then I've seen videos of other people crying on social media where it does feel like really, I mentioned like it bothers me if it doesn't feel genuine. And you were like, well, how do you know? I'm like, I don't know. For me, I guess it's just like a vibe. If it feels real or not, it feels fake. So there's not really a like rule book to that. But since then, I've seen people who've cried on social media and I'm like, okay, that feels very real. And in some ways it's like, it's a way of like being vulnerable and like trying to show other people that they can. So I think there's a time and place to it, I realized. And I realized this because I like had a moment where I was thinking about my dad and I was like, oh, this is like a thought that like, I wonder if other people have this, if they lose someone or they lose a parent. and I was going to talk about it, and then I like teared up a little. And I was like, well, shit, I can never talk about it because I'm going to cry. And I just said, people can't cry on social media. But I guess I don't always think that's the case. So
you're retracting that statement?
A little. I still would say, like, it bothers me if it doesn't feel genuine. Fair. And I think I have to leave it at that. And there isn't like this makes it genuine, this doesn't. I think it's just like a feeling of when someone actually is showing like legitimate emotion, or when they're like, I'm going to post a picture of myself crying to make it look like I'm showing I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's a girl thing. Maybe you don't think about that at all, but
I don't really think about crying much.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay.
Occasionally.
So that's it. I don't know what next week's episode is going to be about, but we will for sure be back on track with our weekly posting now. So watch our Instagram. It's Are You High Right Now podcast for the next like anonymous link on what we're going to talk about. And don't forget to, leave a review, leave a review.
Yep.
Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So yeah.
Leave us a review and rate us.
Rate us. Yeah, leave a rating.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait, I have to do the trigger warning.
Trigger warning. There may be talks of suicide.
Is that all? We're just leaving it at that? Say.